Hi everyone, I'm Julie from Julie's Everything Treasures, and it's the start of a new week, Monday. So Mondays I do my Thrift Haul Monday, which basically started last week, so this is week 2. And what I would generally be doing is on the weekends going thrifting to the different thrift stores and picking up different items to show you, and what I would do with them and paint some of them. But as the stores are closed right now, I've been actually having family, friends and neighbours dropping off boxes to me so that I can carry on doing this. So I have a box today of items that I'm going to show you and give you ideas of what I would do with them, the different items, and maybe get started on one of them today. So if you are local to me, I'm in Chilliwack, BC, Canada, on the west coast of Canada, and you have any thrift items, you may be spring cleaning your home and you've got the time to do it, or you have unwanted items, whether it's junk or something that you would drop off at the thrift store, so old books, old tins, old jewellery, candles, ornaments, clocks, books, you name it, whatever you think, furniture. If you would like to drop off a box of stuff or some furniture or something, you can drop it just outside my place, and I can give, if you message me, I can give you the address, or it's on my Facebook, or it's on my website, julieseverythingtreasures.com. So if you are local to me and you have things that you have unwanted items that you would love to just get rid of, and you wish to just drop it off at my place, just leave it outside. Don't need to come in, don't need to, contact me in any way whatsoever. Just drop the box off and I'd be very appreciated. And that would be great. So I had a box dropped off, and we're going to go through that box right now and see what's in it, and give you ideas of what I would maybe do with them. And you can even, in the comments, you could put maybe your ideas of what you would do with them. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're going to be hopping on, say hello in the comments, maybe where you're from and a little bit about you. And if you're watching on replay, then just in the comments put #replay and just say hi, because I'd love to say hi back. And if you are also in a really good mood, it'd be nice for you to just send the sprinkles of love of what I'm trying to do here and tell everyone else, because the more we spread the word, the more of the goodness comes back, and then I can give more and more, right? You know what I mean, okay? So we have a box full of stuff, so I'm going to go through the box and the different items, and then we'll get going on a little bit of a craft, okay? So this box had quite a few different frames in it, so I'm just going to quickly just run through some of them. This is a basic frame, just needs a little bit of touching up. What I would probably do with this is just paint the actual wood, the frame, maybe a white or something a little bit more in, rather than just plain wood like this. If I was in a creative mood, I would maybe put some of the clay molds on just to give it a little interest, so that I could put some wax or antique glaze on it and make it a little bit more interesting. But this frame, I could just basically paint it, and just that would be it. It's that simple. So lots of things you can do with frames, and I will do different frames over the next few weeks of different ideas of what I would do with these. Sometimes I'd put a picture inside, sometimes I wouldn't, and even occasionally I would take the glass and everything out and just keep the frame, because those people like to use the frames and do like a wall of frames and different ideas. So there's lots of things we can do, and over the next few weeks I'll give you some inspiration of what you could do with frames. So I'm glad I got some. Alright, so here we go, that's one of the things. And as I say, in this particular box I got quite a few frames. There was 2 of these, so I think I could maybe do something with that too. Those would be the same thing, just paint them up, make it a little bit more modern colouring, and go from there. This one would probably not be a good shape for moulds, but you never know. Alright, so those are the frames. put them away. So here, another frame, a little bit more interesting and a little bit kind of gimmicky, old-fashioned if you will. I'll just show you a little bit closer here. So what I would pretty much do with this is, it's got a fake metal, if you can see that, around the edges. I would leave that. This part here, I would put some white paint over, kind of very thinly, and then just, you know, distress it a little just so that it's got the wood look underneath but white. And then these kind of gimmicky areas here with the fish and that, I would paint all that white. And then inside again, this wood, this glass, I would paint white, and I would put stamp with little letters saying "Gone Fishing." It still would be gimmicky, but it would be a little bit more matching the decor, that style I like. It would match the kind of things, and it would be a great gift for the time period of Father's Day. So that would be something that people, you know, women would love in their homes, because it's not too gimmicky and a good gift for a guy. So that's what I would do with this. So maybe I'll do that this week sometime, but I'm not doing it today. And this here, I'm guessing it came maybe from Mexico. Someone went on vacation to Mexico and it's hand painted. I think it's quite pretty. It's interesting, but it's certainly not fashionable for today. So again, this, and it's a little bit chipped there, so I just sand that down a little bit, paint it up different colour, a little bit more of a colouring that is more in right now. And I would probably put a little wax or glaze on the rose to give it so it would pop, and that would be very simple to do, just paint it up. So I will probably do that sometime this week, but not today. So here we have a glass vase. These, I get these all the time, and I'm actually quite happy to get them. There's many things I can do with these, but the main thing what I do with these is this. I use them to decoupage. So basically, you know, this will become like this. And they are very popular, especially around the weddings, for decorations, flowers on the top table. And a lot of ladies like to pick these up with the roses on anyway. So basically, that's kind of, this vase will probably end up similar to this. And I may do that again this week. I should get it done. So I've got some coming for the summer. Flowers always do well through spring and summer, so I will get on with that soon too. Now I got these in this box and I thought, oh well, that's kind of unusual glasses. I'm not sure what to do with them. And then I realised actually they're not glasses, they're candle stands, because it's got the candle thing inside here, I believe. So are they glasses? Are they candle stands? Maybe you know, I don't, but I think they're actual candle stands. So I would just paint them plain, maybe white or something like that, just paint them up plain and just leave it very simple, and it would just be a filler in any of my displays as a background. That's probably what I would do, and you could even just clean them up nicely and maybe even keep them as glass. Again, it's a good way of doing a filler on a display, and glass reflects light nicely, so those always come in handy, right? Alright, so we've got lots more frames in here. I think this one was maybe handmade. It's kind of interesting. It's coming apart just a little bit, so I think I'm going to have to use a little bit of wood glue, stick it back together, and I'm not quite sure what I would do with this, but give it some paint, give it some idea. It's got its own little stand, so it's quite sturdy that way. So that's something simple to do, maybe. And that one is another frame. There you go. say, this whole box is full of them, lots of frames. Here's another one, and here is another one. So I think what I would do, I've seen that I have got lots of different shapes and sizes and styles of frames. What I would like to do is an idea that I've seen before, and that is painting the frames all similar colour, maybe putting some mouldings on them and stacking them to make a frame on frame on frame and pretty it. So I'm looking forward to using this one in that style, so I think this will definitely work good for that. I want to play around with that and create that in the next few days, so I'm looking forward to working with this one, but it won't be today. Sorry, not this one today. Now here's another little item that actually would be perfect for coming up soon, as it'd be cute for Mother's Day, and I'm sure if I just left it as is it would sell really well. Hi Kieran, nice to see you. But what I am going to do with this is paint it up. So everywhere that it is wood, I'm going to paint it white, and then the center part, hey Debbie, how you doing? I'm going to paint with black and then use white wording on here to make it look chalkboard. That's what I'll be doing with this, and I'm thinking of having it close to I have a 3-tier tray that I'm working on right now, and it's all lemons and summery that I'm working on. So I think I would put lemonade stand or lemonade 25 cents a glass, something like that, written on here, and put that near the 3-tier tray. So that's what I'm thinking on that one. So I'll be doing that one soon. So unfortunately I'll be covering up this Mother's Day, but maybe it'll be some other gift for a mum a different way. So yeah, that's what I would do with that. Very simple, very easy, and I'll try and work on that again this week too. So last but not least, I have 2 of these. And there you go. And if you can guess, this is what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on these 2. So we're going to get going on that. So I'm going to bring you down, and we are going to make this something a little bit more interesting than what they are. They're just simple frames, but let's have some fun with them. Okay, I'll bring you down. Try not to drop you. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing with these first is figuring out how they go together, because I want to pull them apart and take literally the backing off. And we're going to keep this, we're going to be using this. We're not going to need this. And oh, Home Studios it says. Here you go, that was inside. Not going to need that either. And also I'm taking the glass out. Be very careful when you take that out. Whenever there's glass in frames, the edges can be quite sharp, so be careful with that. And I may keep this for a different project, but I certainly don't need it for this one. So I'm also going to move that out of my way, and just basically these are the 2 items I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Take off the backing. And it looks like someone tried to put some kind of picture in this one. It's kind of a little different. See? Can you see that? I'm not quite sure. I think the picture by accident stuck to the glass. But I don't need the glass. All I need is the actual frame part and this part. So first off, I'm just going to get a little bit of a wipe and just clean off any dust. Because as I say, it is a thrift store haul, and you want to get rid of any dust and grime and grease before you paint. Hey Sheila, hi Jessica, how are you doing? So just get a wipe, what doesn't need much, just wipe it down. Same here, just wipe it down. Get rid of any grease, dirt, dust. And these are, the inside should be fine because it had the glass on, so I'm just going to wipe the back a little bit because I don't want dust everywhere while I'm painting. Oh, it was from the Bay, and they were $12.99 originally from the Bay. There's a sticker on the back here which I will take off when I've finished, but that's quite interesting. You never know what you're going to find, right? So there you go. So we're going to be painting first this part here on both of them, and I'm going to paint them white chalk paint. I don't have a preference to what type of paint I'm using, basically this one, because that's what I have. I get it from Home Depot and I use a lot of white, so I like to just get something that's easy to grab, and that's what I use basically. So I'm just putting, I may need 2 coats, we'll see how it goes on, but I'm just basically going to paint the inside of this. And I think because of the texture of this chipboard stuff here, it might take a little bit because it's going to soak in quite well. How's everyone doing? I'm good, thank you for asking, Jessica. I'm doing well. I am doing good. I got a little bit of headache today, and that's why I'm drinking tea. But other than that, I'm doing good. I had a nice weekend. Did you have a nice weekend? Thank you for sprinkling, Sheila. That's really nice of you. Yeah, I think it's going to need 2 coats, but we'll see. Do the best we can. And I've already just dribbled white paint onto my hand, but that's just usual for me, isn't it? You know, there you go. Got the first paint of the day on me. Just going to move that to one side and just do this one. And once we get the white on, it'll be a little bit more interesting for us. We've got more to do. So what's everyone been doing today? I think, as usual, my comments are really slow at the moment, but I think that's pretty much everywhere for Facebook these days. So if I miss any of your questions or any of your comments, I will look back afterwards and reply, and apologise for if I don't see them right now. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to paint the frames. So let's get going on that. I'm just basically painting them white. Just, this is an undercoat, this white on the frame, so it doesn't need to be perfect. That's one done. As I say, it doesn't need to be perfect because it's just the undercoat, not the top coat. So I'm just going to leave that to dry for a second and do the other one. It is, Sheila. Beautiful day. We had a beautiful week last week, and even today is it's nice, it's pleasant, it's dry, but we do have the rest of the week is going to be rain, and with it being spring, you know, you've got all your flowers starting to bloom, you kind of do need a little bit of rain. So we've had a great week, amazing week last week, and the rain is coming this week. So I don't mind a 1 week of rain, but if we could maybe have beautiful sunshine after that, again, that would be perfect, right? Were you out in the garden, Sheila? So there's the first coat on that one. I'm just going to leave that one to dry too. I usually put them near the heater, but because it's beautiful weather right now, the heater's not on, because it would usually naturally just come on. So what I am going to do is put second coat onto these parts, but let's just get it dried up a little bit first. Apologising that I'm going to be making a little bit of noise, but I do need to get this dry so we can get onto something a bit more interesting. Alright, let's get onto the second coat. Is anybody like I am? I'm so missing going to the thrift stores and rummaging around and finding those little gems that just the inspiration hits you of what you want to do with them. I'm definitely missing that. I'm not particularly much of a shopper type person. I don't love going to the mall, but I certainly enjoy going to the thrift stores, and I do miss that. So there's the second coat on. Just leave that to dry, and I'm going to put the second coat on this one. Just dry it up a little tiny bit. It's almost dry. You've done tomatoes and cucumbers, hey? I've started my tomatoes, but I still have them indoors right now. They're about this big, and they're indoors, and I will keep them indoors for probably until probably middle of May, and then I will put them outside. But here, you never know, you can all of a sudden get a little bit of snow, so I always kind of at least wait till May to get them outside. And to be honest, I've been quite lazy in my own garden, and I have to still go to my garden and just dig it all up, get some of the weeds out and get it going. So another reason that they are still inside. Cucumbers I haven't done this year. I didn't have the greatest year last year for anything other than tomatoes. I always do good with tomatoes. So I think just with what's going on with everything right now, I'm just going to do my tomatoes this year. I may put a little lettuce in, but I don't think I'm going to do cucumber and a lot of stuff this year. I don't know why. I'm kind of a little bit on the lazy side with my garden, but I just finding I don't have the get up and go to get out there right now. That's your treasure hunt? Ah, yes. As I say, I haven't been really in the mood for the garden much this year so far. I may turn around and get the inspiration, I don't know, but right now I haven't had it. Alright, so I'm going to go back to these and make sure these are dry. Get this one dry. Right, sorry about the noise, but I needed them quite dry just because I'm going to be doing some of the ink. I'm going to be stamping. So I need to get the stamp out, and I keep getting paint all over me. I don't want to get it on the stamp. So I am using the IOD. It's a permanent ink that I already have on this pad, and I use the grey, so that's what I'm going to be using. And for first off, I'm going to be using the wood plank stamp. I don't know the correct name for it. I'm not good at that. It's an IOD stamp. Hi Denise, how are you doing? And I'm going to be doing basically turning these back parts here into plank of wood. That's what I'm doing first. And I still keep getting paint all over me, so I hope I don't get it everywhere. But anyway, let's see which one. This one's drier, I think, right now. So I'll work with this one first. So I'm going to be basically, there's ink in my pad. I'm going to be pushing it down onto the stamp like I have done many times before. If you haven't seen it and you have any questions, just pop them in the comments. I will try and answer them, and also I've got a few friends on right now that also can answer your questions too. They've seen me do this before, and I think a few of them have already done it themselves before too, and I know very well there's an amazing lady on right now that actually she teaches me, she inspires me, so she will be able to answer questions too. Thank you for sprinkling, Denise, just talking about you. Anyway, here we go, got the ink already on the pad here, and we're going to just basically create a faux plank. So I'm going to push it down and just press down. Try not to shift. It's quite easy to do when it's not a slippery surface, and this isn't slippery, so it's not going to shift easily. But if you're pressing down and you've got a little bit of a slippery surface, you may move, and you don't want that to do that. Oh, you must have needed it. Hey Denise, I've been feeling a bit that way today. I had a little bit of a headache this morning, so right now actually, here I go, I'm drinking tea. And I always find when I have a little bit of a headache, if I have a sit down cup of tea, and like the Brits always say, a cup of tea makes everything better. So let's see if this has come up. There we go. That's what we've got going on so far. And also I have another stamp here that I'm going to add. Is a little bit of a knot that I'm going to also put on here to make my plank look, as I say, a little bit faux plank for the backing. So I'm just going to choose a spot and put my faux knot. And pull it back up, and that's what we've got going on so far. And I'm going to do the same with the other piece. And I think I'm getting the paint from this top bit. It's got collected up here. So I'm just going to get out another. I went to try and get some more baby wipes because I use them a lot for cleaning up and different things. And the store didn't have any, so I'm trying to be really good with not using too many baby wipes, and also the fact not just for myself, but I mean obviously young mothers with children, they definitely need baby wipes more than I need them for crafts, so I don't really want to, even if there was a few on the shelf, I don't think I would want to take it away from someone that would need it more than I would, right? So I'm trying to not use too many at once. Anyway, let's get some more ink onto this stamp, and then we're doing the same thing and making this one into a plank. Get it nice and juicy with the ink. And then we're going to just lay it down on here. Put it on. just a little shorter than my piece of wood, but because of the frame you wouldn't see it anyway, so I'm not going to worry about the edges too much. I'm pushing quite hard just because it's quite a little bit of a textured piece of wood, and I just want to make sure it gets into the grooves. But usually you wouldn't have to push as hard if it was a flat surface. But there we go, we got that going on. So I'm just going to do another little knot just to make it cute and gimmicky. Not too gimmicky, I promise. As I say, I've had a little bit of a headache today, and the little child close by to here has been crying and crying and crying all day, and he wouldn't usually bother me, but with a headache it's bothered me a little bit. Anyway, I can just hear the little child outside is actually not crying now, so seems to be having a good time now, so that's good. Obviously what was bothering the little one has all gone away now. So there we go, we got that going on. So what I am going to do next is going to get the words. I've got them started so it's easy for me, and I'm going to be putting on one of them, I'm using the IOD letters, and I'm going to be putting home on one of them, and I'm going to be putting pantry on the other one, just because of the length of them. I don't really want to be putting too long words on them, and I'm going to be, I almost used the grey, I'm going to be using the black ink. I'm going to, so that it shows a bit better. I'm going to actually put a little bit more ink in. Let me find my ink. What would you write on them if you were doing them as signs? What words would you think of doing? Can you think of some good ideas to put for signs? Because that's what we're making faux signs. Just going to juice it up a little. Oh, I think I spoke too soon. The little one's not happy again. It must be frustrating when they can't go very far, right? Can't even go to the park, can they, the little ones? Alright, let's get this ink onto my letters. I have the letters down, and it's ready to say home. You've seen me do this before, but if you have any questions, I can answer them quite easily here. Just cover this up while I'm doing, and I'm just going to press it down slowly, trying to get everything so it doesn't shift, and I have it as centered as I can get it. And I just dropped my E. So I'm going to try and pick that up and get it in place. There, I think I got it. You always have one letter that plays farm, grateful. Yes, great ideas, yes. All good ones to do. Whenever I put a sign out that says pantry, I always pretty much sell it that day. And with my books, if I put on the ends of the books, if I put smile, they're always gone that same day too. That's always a popular one. But yes, great ideas. Faith is another good one to put on. Gather, I believe, is another good one. Not sure how. I don't know, I think I need more ink on this. I'm going to press it down and see if I can get it back in place. Where's my black? I get some more ink on this. I'm not loving that it didn't come out great, but it's because it's got the ridges, right? So I'm going to do one letter at a time here and just push back down because it's not showing well. Hold on. And I'll make sure it's really juicy on the next one. That's better. I'm glad it's a word that's only got a couple of letters. if I'm doing them individually. But it looks way better now. I'll show you in a second. I'm not too worried about it being perfect because it's supposed to be rustic. And I think just because of the grooves in the wood at the back, it wasn't completely dry. And that's another reason the ink didn't stick wonderfully, you know. Anyway, just push this down and show you what we've got going on. But that's the main reason I didn't use the grey. I used the black because I wanted the word to actually be shown. So that's what we've got going on here. Can you see that? And I will move that to one side. Make sure you clean your stamps straight away. I will make sure I get them in some nice warm water, and I use a baby toothbrush just to go over them, to clean them. And where's my other one? This one says pantry. I'm going to make sure I get this nice and juicy and pushed down real good. I always get ink everywhere doing this. Okay, let's see if I can do this without dropping the letters. Flipping it over, getting it straight, putting it in the middle, and actually have it showing. So let's get it pushed down real well. Still, I'm going to do a couple of letters separately. I'll just show you here the difference, that it's showing some but not all. It just seems to be better when I do them separately because of the grooves in the actual backing. So just a couple of the letters I'm going to redo. Mainly the last ones. So just doing the T right now. Press down real good. Just takes a little longer, but just will get it done properly first time round rather than having to do it all twice, right? I just could do with 3 hands, one to do this and the other one to hold my tea in front of my mouth at the same time. Anyone want to just pass me a straw? Alright, let's get the R on, because that one was the worst one. Get it in place. And then the Y. Okay, much better. Move this out the way. As I say, I will clean it all up properly later because you want to take care of your stamps. I still need this, so I'm going to keep hold of that. So this is what we've got so far. Pantry and home. And we're going to work on the actual outsides. So move the frames over and these out the way for a minute to dry. And what I'm using, I actually just got this because I ran out, so I've been waiting for it to arrive. It's a DIY paint, clay based paint, weathered wood. That's what I'm going to be using. And I've done this once before and I wasn't very good at it, I must admit. I've seen Denise do this and it came out perfectly. So hopefully she's not watching, and because I want to make sure I do this good this time. So I'm just using some of the paint that's ended up in the top here, and I'm going to go over the frame with the weathered wood, just one section at a time, because I need the paint to be wet. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be using the stamp while the paint is still wet. Did I get all the edges? No, I missed some. Hold on. And while the paint is still wet, I'm just going to put the wood stamp over the top. Push down very firmly without shifting, and when Denise does this it comes out perfectly, and when I do this it doesn't come out perfectly. So let's see what happens here. And then you're going to pull up. It did it okay. It's okay. Just okay. But basically you have the wood effect. So I'm going to try that again on one of the other edges. And after you've done this, make sure you clean your stamp off really well from the paint. And you want the paint really wet because you want it to lift back up. So just going to push down onto the wet paint. And then peel back off. That one was a little bit better, if I can show you that. And it'll show better even more when it's dry. Let's do the next edge. All the paint on, covered the white, and then again just push down very firmly, because you want to try and pull basically back up some of that wet paint is what you're doing to reveal the underneath, and it gives it that wood effect. Just rather than using the ink and the stamping every time. So there you go. And we're going to just do this end piece and then the other side. And when you've completely finished all this, you would just put a clear coat over the top, a poly or something, just to seal everything. Alright, last side on this one. Push down firmly. Yeah, it's a different technique, and as I say, if you can get your paint, you need your paint wet, but not dripping wet, or else it just would glue together. You want it wet, but also be able to peel it off. It's quite the technique to learn. I'm not the greatest with patience. I'm not. So I must admit, stuff like this is not my best thing, but I'll leave that to dry and then I can show you after when it's dry. And let's just do this one and then we can put it all together. Alright, just around the side there. I'm going to push this on. If you were wanting it perfect, in between you might want to clean off your stamp because you've got some wet paint on there. So if you were trying to be perfect, I would clean it in between each one, but I don't have the time, patience or energy to just run down or use a wipe just to clean this between each one right now. It would be boring for all of us, right? So just going to do it the best I can. And you get the concept, and basically all we're doing is a thrift store old frame, turning it into what looks like a wood rustic sign. That's all it is. So I'm drinking vanilla Earl Grey. That's what I'm drinking right now. I like having the herbal type teas in the afternoon, and then I'll have a regular tea when I get home. I'm definitely English tea drinker. So tomorrow coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is going to be our Tuesday show, kind of. It's going to be the Trash to Treasures. So what I have is some stuff that I was going to throw out. Yes, it is really yummy. It is. And soothing too with the vanilla. So Trash to Treasures tomorrow. So I've got a few things, some beads from an old necklace, and a chain from another old necklace that basically they're broken, and I'm going to be working with them on something that I'm going to be doing, finishing the inside of the suitcase. So we're going to be doing a Trash to Treasures at the same time as it will be a good way of finishing the inside on something a little different for the suitcases we did last week. So that's tomorrow, Trash to Treasures, and it's basically something you would usually, because you've got a broken chain, you would usually just throw them out. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it tomorrow. So hopefully you'll join me for that again tomorrow. And we're on the last side here. Pushing down good. Peeling it up. Move that out the way. As I say, make sure you do wash your brushes and your stamps especially really well. Just gonna wipe my hands because I got paint everywhere. I got ink everywhere. If I'm not covered, then you know I haven't been working right. I'm just gonna blast this a little bit with the blow dryer. Sorry about the noise, but I want to get it dry so I can show you the effect, okay? Almost dry. sorry about the noise. I know it's like really loud. So what I would do with this is afterwards I'm going to stick them together with glue, with E6000 glue. But until I've got that on here, I'm just going to basically show you without the glue, okay? So I'm just going to put it in place. And as I say, I will put the glue, maybe this one's this one, maybe they're slightly different sizes, I don't know. Oh, and my other sign. That's funny, when they come out of here, but they don't go back in. They are actually slightly bigger than the frames, which will be good for gluing in. But it means that you have to kind of put the edges in first and then put the ends in. Hold on, I'm trying to get this one in to show you. That is funny. They are. Did they expand because I made them hot? Maybe. There you go. Alright, so basically there we have pantry and home, and they look like wood signs, but they're actually painted. And this one I'd maybe put it slightly this way next time, but kind of liking it. What do you think? Thumbs up? Can I see some sprinkles here? Have thumbs up? Is it good? Is this a hit or a miss? I'm kind of liking it. Well, thank you, Sheila. That's really nice of you. So there you go. And from basically someone was throwing out these old frames from the bay, and we now have some signs that we can put up. Pretty simple. I mean, I would have taken a little longer or a little bit more precise if I wasn't quickly trying to get it dry to show you guys, but that's what we have going on there. So I am going to bring you up so you can actually see me talking rather than just hear me from underneath and see what's going on. But that's what we have going on here. And the other one. They're probably backwards for you, but I promise you they do say pantry and home. It's just the way that the video is. So thank you for watching. That's really nice of you to take the time and watch and to sprinkle. I appreciate it, and I will be back again tomorrow doing my Trash to Treasures. Hope you join me at 4 p.m. Pacific Eastern Time. Sorry, Pacific Standard Time. That's terrible, isn't it? Because that's a completely wrong time. Pacific Standard Time. And again, thanks for watching. Have a good evening, and please everyone be safe. Thank you.